Alright, back again. So we're just going to start the process of doing some plastic welding. So I'll just pick so I've just basically got a soldering iron. This is a gas style soldering iron. Yes, that's homebrew in the background that I need to get back onto during the summer. Okay, so we're going to light this up. Oh, here we go. Alrighty, so what I'm using here, everyone knows, is a cable tie. So all I want to do is basically melt that cable tie and try and reinforce it a little bit and just blend it in. Now, whoa, bloody phone. So I want to blend that in and just reinforce a bit of the plastic. Come on, focus, you bastard. Same with the bottom. Okay, so you get an idea there. And that's just to basically reinforce that cut because it only has 6 cuts in it. 6 more pieces hold it all together and it'll pop out. So if I work my way along, strengthen it all up, it'll give you an idea of basically then I'll do the cut and get the switch in there. Alright, cheers guys. Okay, here we go, start time. So so the compressor over here, since I don't have that fitting, and that's the bit that I need, that T section, I had to hook up the pressure switch. So that's basically a, well, like it says, a pressure switch. As soon as it gets to pressure, it actually cuts it out, and we're going to give it a run. So that'll go into the T section, and then it'll have a fitting, so I can plug the hose in it. Alright, we'll give her a go. So we're all wired up. All looking really good. Everything's secure. Back to where it was. Go away, mozzies. Alright. So switch is down there. I'll just make sure that it's out of gear. We'll start her up. Make sure that illumination's working. Yep. Fantastic. Look at that. Yeah. Here we go. Test. First test. Oh yeah. Sounds definitely lots of air coming out there. So it's not done. Now we'll switch her off. Turn the ignition off. Turn that off. Take the keys out. And last thing I'm going to do is, you can't leave it running around like that. So I'm just going to whip that back in, and I'll take that solenoid switch off so I don't start it up, otherwise I'll lose that, it'll just pop straight out. Alright, catch you guys. Hey folks, stage 2. Now I've mounted the TLR bracket to go in. That didn't go in without a fight. This one down here, that was the hardest one to get in, and I had to bend the bracket a bit to make it fit, but we got there in the end. So I've now mounted the compressor. I've covered all the ARB wiring with cable protector, conduit, and then taped it up in all the corners. Taped up the locker switches there for your solenoid lockers, for the lockers, which I won't use at this stage. Also mounted the breather kit underneath here, so I can still get to them and plug them in. It's just a straight fitting straight in, so that's easy. It's pissing down rain. I'm working outside under the carport. Not the best, but anyway, we're all happy about the power fuse here, the main fuse for the compressor. Not a great spot, but anyway, that's the way it goes. So I'm going to take the battery out, run it down through the firewall using silicone spray, of course. The silicone spray, that stuff's magic. It just doesn't stop you from chafing it. So look, it's looking pretty chockers here in the engine bay, but if we go into firewall, I've got the other end of the main isolating switch loom, and that's all ready to be plugged in. Just make sure you look at the diagram. So that's all out, and so when it comes to buying this compressor, they're for your air solenoids for the lockers, which I'm not going to use. This is the outlet to pump up your tyres, but what you don't get with this compressor is the T module. It's basically a fitting to another fitting, and then it goes into your tyre inflator. So I had to go buy that, but I didn't get the T, which should have been in the box, but it wasn't. So it's pretty disappointing from ARB. If you go through the instructions, there is no instructions to pump up the tyres or the setup of the pump up the tyres. It's all about the air lockers with this model, and this is the bigger model that pumps up your tyres and does your air lockers, unlike the smaller version which only does the air lockers. So back to ARB, one more part, and then we can get this going. So, right, cheers guys, see ya. Hey folks, how you doing? Alright, we're going to start doing the ARB compressor install now. Now, as you can see, I'd actually turn the ignition on to get an idea of capacity of the switches. As you can see, I'm maxed out on those ones, so I'm actually thinking of the location underneath it. The lighting's not great here, but basically this position here. Oh, I'll hold that in there properly. The location. I'm thinking sort of this location here. I mean, that spot's a bit useless. Thought about there, but I'm thinking here now. First night for me is just basically planning where I'm going to put switches. So what I'm going to do is basically turn it over, and I'm basically going to do some plastic welding along these ridges here just to reinforce it, and then I'll cut a section out. So I basically want it on the right hand side, so as you flip it over it's going to be on the left hand side. So I'll show you how you get about that, and hopefully it'll all work out, and then we'll be able to fit this fat switch in there somewhere. Cheers guys, see ya. Alright, okay, done a little bit of plastic welding there. It's as you can see, holding up to the TV, it's filled in the gap a bit. Let's just have a look around the other side. Yeah, it looks like a dog's breakfast a bit, but you know what? It's on the inside and it's going to reinforce it. So when I cut that away, it's not going to be a flappy bit of plastic. So hopefully we can go ahead and start cutting. Do some measurements first, cut under, and then go wider. Blah blah. Always best practice to measure 3 times, cut once. Alrighty. Alright, back again. Alright, so I've had to take a bit of an edge off the top of the ARB compressor switch. So I've actually made the cut. I'll just put this between my legs so you get an idea. So that's the cut there. And that fits in very, very nicely. Like that. That's basically what it'll look like. And that piece I cut off the top, I mean, use a marker pen. So I'll just cross the top. It's all good. So what I use is a fine blade, hacksaw blade, basically. Very, very fine blade. So I just took it off a little bit at a time, and to enable to make that cut, and it actually came out pretty good. So it's not perfectly square, it doesn't matter. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I've basically created enough space there for the other two switches, which is, I definitely think that we could squeeze them in there. So can be done. Catcha. All right, back again. I got some bit more done. Wiring loom's now in. Switches connected. I just had 2 wires left to do, and that was the red for the ignition, which I picked up from the mirror controller, and then the other one was the illumination, which is the blue one here, and that goes into the red for the washer bottle, the headlight washers, which is something I am never going to use. I've disconnected it completely. As you see, no space, they had to go. It's a bit of a wank anyway, in my opinion. I think I'd rather something cool like DAB radio or something. I'd be happy to do a swap. Suzuki Australia for listening. So that's all ready to go. I just didn't finish that. I just wanted to show you. I just stripped the aqua cable back very, very carefully, put a solder on it, and I'll just wrap that with tape. It's all internal, doesn't need to be heat shrunk really. If you want to do heat shrinking, you got to chop the cable, and you haven't got a lot of room anyway. So, okay. Oh. Okay, so going to be crimping. I'm in the trade. I do lots of different crimping. This is a very basic one. That's a Utilux. That's an OJ45 crimper. And it's the other various types. So if you buy a Kabak or a Utilux, they're quite good. So this is the negative and the positive crimps that they get, the lugs that they give you. I mean, I've got plenty to pick from. I've got a whole bucket full of different assorted lugs and stuff. I'm going to go slightly smaller hole in mine. So I'm not going to use that one. Throw that one in there. And when we come to the negative, I'm actually going to use this point down there. It's sort of just underneath that cable there. Don't connect it to the negative of the battery. You should never connect anything to the negative, your battery, and positive into my over stressed positive. So getting there. Alright, catch you guys. Right guys, ready to connect the battery in. So I've got the negative down there on the chassis of the vehicle, not the battery. So nothing on it. Like I said before, never connect it to direct to your battery. Okay, we're going to have a quick look at this. Now I've got all my smaller current drawing circuits coming off this one here, and all my high current circuits running directly off pretty much the end of the terminal. So this here is actually a fuse. Now if you put high powered ampage consuming devices on this terminal, at some stage you could blow this fuse here and you will not start the car. It's simple as that. So always connect it off this one here. Alrighty, so don't make that mistake. Okay, catch you guys.